everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we're going to talk about the origins of the Illuminati, New World Order, one with everything set, now a collector's item, now very, very infamous. Basically, the truth behind it, the myths behind it, and then we're going to talk about how the Secret Service did, in fact, visit Steve Jackson games because, you know, the mythos is that maybe this person died that did this. And anything like this, by the way, is a huge team effort. That's not the case. But the Secret Service did indeed go to Steve Jackson's office for a completely unrelated issue. Now, we're gonna show you that. Then we're going to show you how the CIA on their own website has many of these cards actually posted on their .gov site. So what sparked my interest in all of this? Why am I even doing this series? Number one, I didn't realize that recently the media had actually covered this stuff. And the Yahoo article is the one we're going to talk about. I think it was in the Independent as well. But Yahoo Money, this is a very good article. And we also saw this, and we'll probably briefly go over this one, the Daily Star. These are in, the last few months. This one was last year, I guess. This is the March 2021, right? But this one right here was done April 29th, so just a few weeks ago, right? So I had got over some of these cards many, many moons ago over at my InfoWars days. I showed people some of that. In fact, if you're a premium member over at the Rockfin, right, and I encourage you to at least make that free account, then you can go watch that. You can go watch me many, many moons ago talking about this, right? So nobody's dead. The origins are pretty interesting, and they even go into this guy right here, Robert Anton Wilson. And if you've noticed, I'm 2.5 hours deep in this 6-hour interview he did, because after learning about this guy and where this thing originated from, I wanted to hear what he has to say. And it's a really interesting interview. There's some pretty weird occultic stuff in there. There's quantum physics in there. And there are a lot of the subjects that I cover kind of out of the horse's mouth. So who's Robert Anton Wilson before we even get into Steve Jackson? He is one half of the authors of a series called Illuminatus. There's like 3 books, right? And he's an author all over. He's an associate editor at Playboy. He has kind of like this very underground career. And the Illuminatus trilogy is one of fiction, right? But it grabs a guy named Steve Jackson's attention. Now, in the early 80s, Steve Jackson is essentially, creating these games and things. Let's make the Illuminati into a card game and a board game, right? But not like the card game you see in this. Basically, it's a board game, but there's a few cards. They're kind of blank. It's dice. It's all this other stuff. So that becomes kind of a cult classic. And then, step in to a guy much, much later who kind of makes it his own and says, Steve, we need to make this into a card game. I absolutely loved your 80s games. And that's a guy named Derek Piercy, okay? And Derek Piercy is here, and Steve Jackson is here, and they get interviewed over at Steve Jackson's channel. This is actually only not even like 2 weeks old, right? And you can see it right there. It's on YouTube. Anybody can look this up. You can go check it out yourself. And Steve Jackson makes it very, very clear that the game is very tongue-in-cheek and that the cards are there for you either to believe or mock as you wish, I think is his quote in this. But what it does do is it kind of shows you what was in the ether in the mid-90s. And, there's a lot of cards in there like, the Atomic Monster Godzilla type card. There's a lot of magic type cards. There's a lot of generalized type cards. But there's a lot of stuff in there that you're like, whoa, and it's taken aback. So we've gone into that. And now we're going to read this article because we've actually pulled some of these cards, and I want you to see them, and I want you to understand why the Secret Service actually did visit Steve Jackson games. Before you do that, 39 watching, almost 6 minutes deep in a video with a subscriber base of what? 61,000. So thumbs it up, subscribe, share, join the Burmese Brigade. If you're new, make sure you're getting the free account and you're over at the Rockfin and you're checking out the uncensored videos like this one with Eric Clapton that you're going to see. And please, if you haven't seen this video of these two women confronting an authoritarian, tyrannical school board on behalf of their children tonight and why they're doing so, you need to go check that out. We're going to have them on later this evening after Mixed Martial Mindset. So much going on here today over at the show. You're going to want to make this a free account because that interview is going to be a Rockfin exclusive. We're going to take a little bit of it and we're going to put it on YouTube, and then we're going to encourage people to check it out there. I want to thank Odyssey for backing up my channel, and I want you to check out all the documentary films: Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. Now, before we read this article, I want to show you that the CIA.gov links are absolutely real, right? They link to a PDF. I mean, I wonder if this one's a little different. I already have one open. It seems to be the same exact thing, right? Oh, I guess it's a little bit different. Yeah, I guess that's the introduction and that's page 2. That's why. It's weird. Or maybe it's an update. I've downloaded one of the PDFs, but as you can see, the CIA has this thing linked on their site as well. And we've actually, I believe, International Weather Organization or some type of weather, we've gone there. Maybe we haven't done Weather Satellite either. There's a lot of good ones. So they're talking about this. We've talked about that type of technology in the past. Let's read this article. Okay. An out-of-print multiplayer card game, the first appeared in 1994, is continuing to attract interest and unease online over its apparently eerie ability to predict major global events from 9/11 to the election of Donald Trump, the coronavirus pandemic, and the riot at the U.S. Capitol on the 6th of January this year. The hits keep coming. Illuminati New World Order was released by Steve Jackson Games and cast a player as a puppet master pursuing world domination on behalf of their chosen mythic secret society. The game offering a choice of the Bavarian Illuminati, the Discordian Society, the UFOs, the Servants of Cthulhu, the Bermuda Triangle, and the Gnomes of Zurich. The goal of Illuminati spun off from the same company's 1982 board game that was in turn inspired by the Illuminatus trilogy, which we discussed, fantasy novels by Robert Shea and Robert Anton Wilson, is to develop consolidate a power structure through which the rule the globe from the shadows on behalf of your chosen rule, manipulating society and dealing out apocalyptic blows to your opponents as you go. Maybe the Illuminati are behind the game, Mr. Shea wrote in his introduction to the original game's rulebook. They must be. They are, by definition, behind everything. And remember, that's not the card game's rulebook. This game was a cult classic in the 80s. Their trilogy, you're going back to the 70s, okay? People like Anthony Hilder, okay, who kind of pioneered research on this, right? Did all these albums that were out there. People like Jordan Maxwell have been talking about this stuff. Love them or hate them, they did pioneer this. And quite frankly, a lot of this stuff has come to fruition. But again, we get to the goofy stuff too. Let's see. While the game's preoccupation with globalist deep state conspiracy themes was clearly wildly ahead of its time, anticipating our bamboozled, boggle-brained era of fictional election rigging claims. QAnon, how'd that happen? Anti-vaxxers, 5G paranoia, and seeing app-based nonsense cauldrons like Telegram. It's the 2000 AD tarot-style illustrations on the cards themselves that are the real source of fascination. So, a lot of people have drawn that tarot card kind of parallel, right? So you saw the terrorist nuke card at the top, for instance, shows an explosion midway up a skyscraper in a scene that looks undeniably like the attack of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City on the 11th of September 2001. One depicts a bomb blast at the Pentagon that shows barbed wire fencing around the White House shielding the president from civil unrest. We've shown that card. We haven't shown the Pentagon card yet. A scene realized last summer during the Black Lives Matter demonstration in Lafayette Square. Well, I mean, how about we got the White House behind a fence now? Okay. Speaking of Mr. Trump, we showed you the charismatic leader card before. There's even a charismatic leader card that features a blonde-haired demagogue addressing a crowd of adoring supporters in seemingly uncanny forecast of the reality TV businessman's rise to power. Amusing, given that he was a bankrupt Atlantic City impresario at the time of the game's launch, with very little prospect of being taken seriously ever again. And by the way, there's another card in that other article. I'll show that. Let's show that one there, because we're not going to show all that article. Is this here, right? Where it shows a totally different card where they're showing Trump, by the way. Let's get there. There, that's the Trump card. The enough is enough, right? That's supposedly the Trump card in this one. Again, a lot of this stuff is very vague. So, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, right? But it also allows me the ability to kind of be lighthearted and then talk about some of the things like Hillary Clinton has done, right? She's in the deck, and tree-hugging Al Gore, right? Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein makes an appearance there. Is a particularly gruesome card anticipating the advent of militant political correctness, now a regular bugbear of Fox News. Yeah, that's a crazy card too. Two people hung, holding signs for their crimes. Used insensitive pronoun, reads one. Ate flesh of dead animals, says another. And that's the kind of society they want to build, by the way. I haven't pulled that card either. We definitely are going to get to the Secret Service. Don't worry. Thumbs this video up, okay? There's a March on Washington card. One for marketplace manipulation, investigating a deliberate Wall Street crash, and even a plague of demons descending on D.C. to set Q hearts racing. A plague of demons descending on D.C. Oh, that's supposed to be the Q hearts. Man, I hate that. You can't call politicians that are entirely working on behalf of a predator class and against their true constituents and humanity demons in any kind of sense without, being accused of being like, a QAnon sense goer. That's ridiculous. Again, I'm not even a religious guy. Obviously, I don't believe they're physical demons. But they are betrayers of humanity. And if demons existed in human form, yeah, a lot of them are that. A whole lot. When people who sat there as the Speaker of the House year after year after year, like Dennis Hassert, get labeled a serial child molester by a judge, I think I can call that person a demon. I could also say that's high-level pedophilia in the government. Crazy, I know. Illuminati has long since been discontinued and become a collector's item with unsealed decks sold on Amazon and eBay for almost $2,000. The wildly inflated price of an indicator of high demand among a certain sort of feverish mind consumer. And again, I didn't pay $2,000 for mine, but mine was like, we actually took the cellophane off. Derek Piercy actually did sign it. I'm still not giving up hope. I want to get Piercy on the show. I want him to talk about the fact that they're also bringing this. Do I have it up there? No. But they got a fundraiser right now. They're bringing this to a video game. So yes, it's a high ticket item. That's why if we do at the end of this, bring this up, and we're gonna put some gloves on because this is an investment. Okay. In addition to the game's artwork, a further source of intrigue is the fact the Secret Service raided the office of Steve Jackson Games in Austin, Texas on the 1st of March, 1990, and had confiscated hard drives and documents, some of which pertained to the board game. So again, I guess I misspoke. The Secret Service came in 1990 before they made the card game. Okay, the card game came out in the mid-90s, the board game in the early 80s. While conspiracy theorists believe represented the feds moving into a hastily hush-up Illuminati and stop of developers revealing the existence of its secret societies to the wider world, why would you choose to make that information public in board game form rather than, say, by hosting a press conference? This is simply untrue. One of the company's employees, Lloyd Blankenship, was also a hacker who served as a systems operator for a messaging board that had published stolen set of files detailed how America's 911 emergency response system worked, a fact the Secret Service had been tipped off and been granted a search warrant to investigate. By the way, there's Hillary. Her leash actually goes around Bill's neck. I don't know if they have the Clinton card there. Speaking to Vice News about his old boss in 2012, Blankenship said, Steve is a huge fan of conspiracy theories, not that he believes in them, as far as I could tell in 5 years of working with him. Rather, he is immensely entertained by them. The site also spoke of illustrator John Grishny about the prophetic imagery he drew for the series. Grishny admitted the coincidences, but said the likes of the terrorist nuke card were inspired by anxiety about the threat potentially still posed by post-Soviet Russia rather than any vision to come from Al-Qaeda. Bum, bum, bum. That's if you believe, fairy tales, right? Al-Qaeda, Al-CIA. Terrorism was heating up as a headline seller, but that's true, right? It was. And again, like the Saddam card, we'd already been in the Gulf when they made that, and, the progression was there. Without the ever-present threat of nuclear annihilation, but we were still looking at Hamas and Palestine as likely culprits from such acts. They have the jihad card, right? We went over that. Art direction, frankly, a nuke wouldn't blow up one building. Even a tactical nuke would do damage at a much larger scale. It does seem oddly prescient, given the Twin Towers shown. Bum, bum, bum. There's the quarantine card. We've actually pulled that. Steve Jackson himself has also addressed the game's origins, telling Dragon Magazine in the mid-'80s that his intention was primarily satirical and that he had hoped to keep the tone tongue-in-cheek rather than serious. He explained that the original concept arose from a conversation with cover artist Dave Martin in September of '81 about the mutual administration for the Shea and Wilson novels. Illuminatis, right? Even aside from the question of buying game rights to a novel, always an involved and expensive process, there was the subject matter, Mr. Jackson recalled. Basically, I'm going to let you read the whole thing, and there's actually links. You can check it out. But they never really gave credit to them at first because they didn't want to get sued, I guess, right? Because they also put other things in there. But it is interesting. So going back to the CIA very, very quickly, right? You see these are the two links. And the CIA, takes you through a lot of different cards. And it's this smoking gun. Bum, bum, bum. Smoking gun proof that the Illuminati has planned events many years. That's part 3. So maybe this is part 4. Yeah, I would assume they probably have part 1 and 2 on there too. CIA.gov. But it is, pretty interesting that they're there. So, without further ado, we're going to move that mic over a little bit. We're going to put the gloves on because, again, this is an investment. And hopefully, I'd love, if I do go down to Texas or somewhere Steve Jackson's, I'd love to get him to sign it. And I'd love to find the artists also and get them to sign it. Get this the most mega signed card set ever. It's very interesting. It's intriguing. But again, what does it show? It shows a lot of these things that we talk about were already in the ether. They were already in pop culture. They've been written about, many of them. We talk about, quote unquote, a new world order. And a lot of people continue to try to say, oh, that's some kind of a rat-wing conspiracy theory. Samuel Zane Batten, although like Christian, I would hardly call him right-wing. He was talking about globalism. He was talking about a new world order. He was talking about a community effort for the state and everything going for the state. So thumbs it up, subscribe and share. Let's do it. Let's do it. And there it is. There's the Derek Piercy. Boom, 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 boom. One with everything. And once again, shout out to Sam Tripoli for making me think about actually buying these and doing this again because, Sam did it at like a hotel and he had this beat up set he paid $300 for. And I was like, you know what? That is a great idea. And I didn't realize there was 450 cards, to be quite honest. That was another huge thing for me. I was like, oh, wow, there's that many cards. So I was like, we could do a lot of videos on this. We can see what's the nonsense and, what's the deal. So this is a whole series. If you haven't tuned in, we've gone down. There's got to be 4 or 5 videos out there. But here's a stack. We'll probably do them in groups of 9. But since I've already shown you that, we're going to go here. And there you go. There's one of the red cards. This is the hallucinations card. Now, we just did a video on the targeted individual phenomenon of directed energy weapons that the White House just admitted to. This thing they were calling actually Havana syndrome. In fact, just to let people know I'm not goofing and that everything was mainstream, and we were talking about that just the other day. Here it is right here. The White House microwave attacks and the reality of 2021. And we also talk about in depth how a lot of the things that we're seeing now are things that DARPA and guys like Dennis Bushnell were talking about, for the last 20 plus years on the record. So the hallucinations card, let's read some of it. Forget about, MK Ultra and what they did there and the different types of drugs they used outside of LSD. You control a powerful telepath. Oh, ESP. They've also, I have not read Annie Jacobson's work on that. And, that may be my blind spot, but, I know a lot of it is put on Uri Geller, who ended up being, CIA and Mossad? So, a lot of deception there. Unfortunately, she's totally insane. But you can act at once per turn to project her madness into the mind of any personality and cancel their action, right? In an attempt to destroy them. So let's start right there. And then let's put that one down. That's a 1 down. Okay. Man, my man Tarpley used to love this. He used to always talk about zombie banks, right? And voodoo economics, right? Voodoo economics. And there they are, voodoo economics. So Webster is in my film Shade the Motion Picture. Again, everybody in the movie Shade, I probably disagree with on a lot. But that film, start to finish, we came together, into a big agreement. I think that's important. So the voodoo economics card, play this card during your own turn. Just after you place action tokens, you must spend your Illuminati action. Discard up to 10 plot cards from the top of the deck. Let's see. That's about it. Everything else is just kind of rule-based, and you got Wall Street in the background. Voodoo economics. It's 2 down. Let's pull this one from the bottom. Bam. The Semi-Conscious Liberation Army. What's that mean? This is gives +3 on any attempt to destroy any group. So I would assume, this is communist. It's weird, liberal, violent, and criminal. I know what a lot of people are going to say. They're going to try to compare this with like Antifa, but it looks more like what? Blonde guys, rocker guys. But it says weird, liberal, violent, criminal, the Semi-Conscious Liberation Army. Okay. Let's go here from the top. Hail Aries. One of these, again, this is a goal card. I would say again, there's a lot of magic, mysticism, etc. And Aries is one of these things that they keep going to. Like there was an item of Aries before I didn't really know about. Are they really Discordians? Who knows? And this is a weird group card. So there you go. This is one of those weird cards. I don't know much about Aries. 4 down. Illuminatus New World Order. Let's take this one right here. Ah, yes, the infamous old Swiss bank account. And again, something that's been talked about for decades. By the way, thumbs it up, guys. Over 100 watching. Can we get 100 thumbs? Play this card at any time to give +10 power to your Illuminati for a single direct attack. This cannot be used for global power. Interesting, because I would think that a Swiss bank account absolutely helps global power. Okay. See, that's 5 down right there. Pull one from the bottom of the deck. I have no idea what this is, but it says Bjorn, and it looks like a pink hippo. See, this is a silly card with some kind of a Viking headdress, right? And maybe it's a parody, and it looks like a dinosaur, actually. So it's a parody of Barney. So, yeah, because Bjorn could be Barney. That's my guess. But you know what? What is crazy? Think about this. Beloved by children. Later on, when we go take Iraq and we have all these different black sites like Abu Ghraib, Gitmo, all those things, you know, they had the sensory deprivation torture that was really pioneered, at least that we know of, in MK Ultra. And one of the things that they would bombard these people with when they could hear was Barney over and over and over and over again. Anyone could look it up. I love you. You love me. We're a happy family. With a knick-knack, paddywhack. Give a dog a bone. So let's see. Yeah, detested by adults, the Viking dinosaur. It's a media group. Gets 1 action token for every media group he controls directly. However, anyone who destroys or kills Bjorn can immediately draw a plot card as the thanks of a grateful world. That's kind of funny. That's a funny card, right? 6 down. Number 7. Earthquakes. Remember, you have weather control, you have modifications, you have all that stuff, and now we got earthquakes. This is a disaster card, of course. Instant attack to destroy any place, even a huge place. Devastation. Okay. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share, everybody. 7 down. Let's take from the bottom again. The Society for Creative Anarchism. See, that's a little more Antifa for me, right? But they're not really anarchists. They're more like socialists, you know? By using this group's action, you may force a rival to discard the top card of his group's deck. So, yeah, you look at that, and it's actually got, like, the anarchy symbol, but it's also in the triangle there. You know, I didn't like these guys when they were the Black Bloc and anarchists, you know, back at the G20 in 2009. At least their face isn't covered, right? So 8 down. 8 down. Let's go to number 9. Here we go. Oh! The old currency speculation. A lot of gold back there. We're still talking gold. We're still talking silver. Obviously, cryptocurrency is new. And that's a huge speculative market right there. So you got the currency speculation card. Let's see. You can use that card at any time. It's got the bank groups in it. Okay, so that's 9. Let's do another 9. Let's do it. Pull from the bottom again. The old survivalist card. And, you know, we've talked about preppers a lot more in the last, decade. Obviously, after the COVID 1984 kickoff in the United States, a lot of people were like, wow, maybe I do need a plan. Wow, maybe I should have storable food. When there was no toilet paper, wow, maybe I should have some water and toilet paper and make sure we have that. So this is it. Basically, they're ready for disasters and they have relief from any devastation. But they are the conservative and then violent and then fanatic at the bottom. And that's the thing. I don't know that survivalists are, violent. Just because they know how to fire a weapon does not make them violent, right? So that's card number 10. Let's do it. Bam. Card number 10. And let's go to card number 11 here. New World Order, a chicken in every pot. Interesting. And what is this? Everybody, world is thriving. Everybody is rich and happy. Wow. Now, every once in a while, guys, there's that card that's positive. Rich and happy. You see the solar. This is what they're selling you. And this is Johnny nonsense. That's really not what they want. And, anybody can look into their actual plans and find out that's not what they really want. That's what they're selling you on. I wish that's what they really wanted. A chicken in every pot. Give me a break. Card number 11 down. From the bottom we go. That is interesting. The Templars. Now, depending on how far you think a plan for a quote-unquote global government or how spiritual this is or how deep you delve into quote-unquote secret societies, you may find yourself talking about the Templars. And listen, a lot of the Templar stuff is hidden in history, is taught in the upper echelons of secret societies, especially Masonry, and, is fodder, for instance, for extremely popular shows such as The Curse of Oak Island currently, right? So we got the Templars card. We'll pop that right out there for everybody to see. I believe that's number 12. Let's get number 13 down right here. Nationalization. See ya, mom and pop shops. And what we do really have right now, by the way, and this is utilized in some countries, but in a much different way of just taking over, grandma's pie shop, right? Really, what did we see here? We already have a corrupt system where these people were locked out of their businesses, couldn't have people come in, but hey, we got you, McDonald's. Hey, your store can't be open, but Walmart, we got you. We got you. Sorry, bars and restaurants. No. Right? So that, the nationalization card has changed quite a bit. It's card number 13. Let's get to 14. Let me see. It's the big score, and that's money. But since we got a green screen going here, guys, as you can see, bump. There you go. That angle gives you a little green. Look at that. Boom. The big score. Look at that haircut, huh? He's got a hip little haircut. Very, very 80s, very Brian Bosworth. Play this card at any time to give plus 10 power to a resistance group or any criminal group you control. What do we got here? Oh. So there we go. What's that? 14 down? 2, 4, 6, 8. I believe it's 14. 2, 4, 6. Yes, 14 down. Let's go to 15. Early warning. There's some radar, some detection, some military technology saying, hey, what's going on here? And this is a early warning of any disaster, right? So, you know the tsunami's coming. You know the tornado's coming. 15 down. Mob influence. 16. Lower level crime, right? Not quite Andrew Capo Cuomo level, right? But don't get it twisted. You know, guys like Sheldon Silver, you know, who's out of jail now. Like, yeah, mob influence. They're gangsters, right? This is can be played at any time and counts as an action for the group it affects. The increased power takes effect immediately. So there you go. What's this one right here? 17? Is that 17? Was that 16? No, that was 17, right? That was 17, and this is going to be 18. So is this going to be our last card, or are we going to do another 9? We might do another 9, right? Sweeping reforms. We're seeing a lot of that right now. They call them reforms, right? Discard all New World Order cards now in play. This requires the action. Media groups with a combined power of at least 6. These groups may belong to more than one player. So the media, in conjunction with the government, for reforms the people don't really want. Let me just count these up. 2, 4, 6, 7. All right, now 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Let's see. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. No, that's only 17. Only 17. Well, let's get number 18 then. Oh, boy. The Boy Sprouts card. Now, obviously, this is a Boy Scouts parody, but we do know the scandals that the Boy Scouts, along with the church and some of these schools, have gone through. We are aware of that. That's not new, right? People get it. Whenever the Boy Sprouts help to bring relief to any devastation location, you may draw a plot card for purposes of bringing relief. They have the power of 12. So there it is, the Sprouts. Do we want to do 9 more? I'll tell you what. We got 115 watching, and we got 76 likes. If we want 9 more, let's get it to 100 likes in the next 60 seconds or I'm pulling the plug. So you get 24 more likes out there, somehow, some way, and we'll do it. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up. And this is the mojo, guys. I do want you to at least make that free account over at Rockfin. So far, I really hope you have enjoyed the true story of the Secret Service visiting Steve Jackson games before these cards, right? But after his initial game, the Illuminatus trilogy, which is fiction, and a lot more. So we're still 20 shy, guys. We're still 20 shy. It's not looking great. 15 seconds down. We usually also feature one card. We still need 12 more likes, guys. It's like down to 30 seconds. I don't know if it's going to happen. If we've had enough, we've had enough. I understand. 10 more. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 7 on there. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, I have them upside down. Like gang signs. 9 more. How much time we got? Not much. I think like 15 seconds. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It's down to the wire. 1. Oh, it looks like we're 3 shy, but I do know this takes a second to catch up. There's 2. I'm going to give it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 199. It's at 99. I should end it. I'm going to do it. There it is. There's the 100. I may have cheated a little bit. We might have taken almost 2 minutes for it. By the way, make that free Rockfin account. So let's do it. Let's go back in. 9 more it is. Okay. What we got? Hawaii. Now, I don't know much about this Hawaii card other than the traditional vacation spot for the world's middle class. Hawaii gives 1 extra action token, each to turn the group that controls it if the group is corporate. But what they are doing in this Hawaii card that I didn't realize is they are sacrificing this woman into a volcano. That's smoke coming up. It's corporate control, by the way. So it's basically, like the representation of corporate people sacrificing you for control to the volcano. You're just a terrorist. There we go. That's 1. Did I say terrorist? I meant tourist. That's 1 more. Let's see. 8 more cards. Telephone psychics. These were big in the 80s and even the early 90s. I'd say it actually kind of went into the late 90s. The telephone craze tailed off more to the mid to late 90s, but it was still there. Like 1997 when I was a freshman, and 98, I still had a phone line in my dorm. And, I had a landline for some time. I didn't get a cell phone until 2004, I think, my first cell. Let's see. Call 1-900-SUCKERS right now and talk to your psychic buddy. It's peaceful, but it's criminal as well. Okay, what do we got next? The France card. I don't know what the France card exactly means, but it's our 3rd card. But you look at it, it's got that nice little Illuminati triangle, right? You could look at some of the architecture there, and obviously that's what they were talking about. It says huge coastal nation, liberal government, kind of like a peak New World Order. And the more I look at it, it's the Eiffel Tower, actually, with an Illuminati eye. That's really creative, actually. So it's the Eiffel Tower, but obviously there's light there. And it looks like somebody's head is behind the light if you really get in it. Again, we scan these in. France has always loved liberal causes. France's power can be used to defend any liberal group you control as a free move. So 3 more down, so 6 more to go. Clipper chip. And this looks like maybe it's hardware implanted by like an NSA type organization or hacker group. Let's find out. All government groups in your power structure gain the ability to listen in on phone conversations worldwide, only for legitimate law enforcement, of course. ... So, yep, this is it. So, guys, just so you understand, again, 95, and all this stuff did come out that they were listening in on all digital communications and all phone conversations. Promise, Carnivore, Norris Insight Systems. They're all real. Okay? I want to make that extremely clear. Mark Hepting versus AT&T. People blew the whistle in the late 90s. This is, again, one of those cards that, you go Snowden. Snowden, dude. Snowden, broski. Snowden, bro, hammer. But here it is, right here. This is, I hadn't seen this card before. Interesting card. 4 down. 4 down. 5 more to go. Thumbs it up, guys. Subscribe and share. Brazil. Good old Brazil. I wondered if I still had that up there with the, on that famous Brazilian statue. It says, boop, boop, saves. This is the natural resources of Brazil. Give 1 extra action to each of the groups that controls it, and that group is corporate. So 4 more after this, and they're kind of talking about the exploitation of what third world nations that many of us are very, very aware of. Oh, this is a card I hadn't seen either. Wargamers. Now, I do want people to understand that back in the day, there was actually a very popular 1980s film with Matthew Broderick that I still like today called War Games. And it was this idea that this person who was very good at computer games and, getting into systems, etc., was playing a war game against a machine that was going to launch an actual attack. But obviously, war gamers, with COVID-19 84, we've talked about the SPARS document, right? We've talked about Event 201. With 9/11, we've talked about many, many, many different war games. Global, Guardian, Vigilant, Guardian, just to name a few. Amalgam, Virgo. There are plenty. So the War Gamers card. 3 more after this one, guys, but let's read it. Gives +2 in any attempt to control or destroy any computer group. By their action, the War Gamers can send anyone exposed plot to the bottom of its owner's plot deck. Well, it's interesting that they mention computer groups and what? We got a whole bunch of cyber stuff going on too, including Cyber Polygon. Anybody? 3 more to go. Earthquake projector. Now, we talked about earthquakes. We talked about, weapon warfare via the environment, whether it be weather warfare or things like this. This device can act once per turn. It can increase the power to attack or destroy a place or any disaster. So, you know what? Let's put that away for a second. We got 2 more after that. But I want to do that one live because people will not believe me that technology is something that's been openly discussed. And they are described as what? Tectonic weapons. Right? Things like the earthquake bomb or seismic bombs. Remember, we have directed energy weapons. We have blast wave accelerators. Those all really do exist, right? They're something that's been openly talked about for a very, 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 very long time. Okay? Eco-type terrorism. Interesting indeed. So, there's, again, this is an ad for different types of propulsion systems because propulsion systems are often weapon systems, folks. That's what people also don't talk about. All right? These things are absolutely real. 2 more. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Remember, make that Rockfin account. And if you want to support me, at Jason Burmis is the Venmo. JasonIsVoid@yahoo.com is the PayPal. Good old Wall Street in cuffs. We need to see more of it. Obviously, you'll think Madoff and stuff like that. But really, the Wall Street people, they barely pay the price. Middle management usually does. Wall Street always has the option to treat any corporate group as though it were government, or vice versa. When Wall Street makes or aids the attack, this does not affect other groups' participation in the attack. Any puppet of Wall Street has an extra +10 resistance. So that's a corporate and bank card as well. There it is, the Wall Street card. 1 more, and then we're going to get out of here. I got to stop coughing when I got these gloves on and we're dealing with these high-priced cards. It's a witch, but it's WITCH. What's this going to be? Is this going to be a magic card or a computer card? The Woman's International Terrorist Conspiracy from Hell. Oh, that's actually that's pretty funny. It's fantastic. It's fanatic, weird, violent, and magic. Okay. It can use this to change any die roll by 1 and it's rolled or by 2 if any magic group was involved. So I guess there are dice that go with this. I don't have any dice in here. But there you go. Maybe I have to get that too and all of it. But that's where we're going to end it. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. We're going to be doing Mixed Martial Mindset with John Fitch. And by the way, that's your Midos Mill. It looks like a submarine. That's your one card that we'll preview for next time. But guys, again, thumbs it up, subscribe, share. We're doing these fun. Make sure that you at least have what? That free account over at the Rock Thin. Why? Because it's important. Because we're doing it big over there, and that's where we can talk about things we can't talk about on YouTube. So I love you. Thanks for supporting me. Thumbs it up, subscribe, share, and I'll see you on the flip side.